Dear audience, in this episode, I'll share my teenage curiosities, desires, and the connection of addictions with ancient human history. Humanity is going through addictions for over thousands of years and still has a big impact on our day-to-day life. Addiction is a pleasure-seeking habit and escapism from something we all want to either involve or escape. There is no shame in it, as we're all brought up to be addicted to something or other. Some addictions are widely celebrated and others condemned depending on different cultures and societies. Like any other kid, I was curious about many things. Curiosity and interest into nudity, sex, alcohol, smoking grew faster as I started to reach my early teens. Also, I started seeing changes with my physique and noticed certain physical mental aspects and urges for the first time during adolescence. As a kid in early 1990s, there was no smartphones, mobiles, and the world was totally different when it comes to communication and access to information. The curiosity to see a naked girl started while in my boarding school. I knew that desire and thought to become reality is not going to happen in boarding school. So I was very curious to see at least a photo of a nude girl. I shared my thoughts with my friend, and behold, my thought was so pure that my friend knew someone who could actually sell us adult magazines. So it was totally illegal to be in possession of these adult magazines, and in boarding school, this would be one of the biggest risks. I knew I'll be getting into big trouble if caught, but in front of the curiosity and desire, the risk seemed negligible. We went through great lengths to save our pocket money to get 5 copies of adult magazines, mainly Western girls in various shades of white and black skin. It's not like these days, ordering on Amazon and shipped within 24 to 48 hours. Every time we need to follow up, there is a chain of communication, passing the word to different individuals, and by the time we get response, it would take 2 to 3 weeks for a status update. No phones and no technology to rely on like these days. We have to wait for almost 2 to 3 months as the magazines are coming from a city nearby and from someone who traveled overseas and had a collection of adult magazines. Nothing else mattered while waiting. We had our own secret codes and sign language to talk about this little curiosity project. Finally, the moment arrived where we have to smuggle the magazines in disguise with other books into our boarding school. Finally, the moment of truth and moment we have been waiting to satisfy the desire and lust within us. Nothing malicious in my actions, but purely the age and thoughts I was going through. I remember as if it's yesterday, my friends and I took a copy each, and for the first time, we're seeing images of totally nude girls. My world in those moments is consumed with what I was seeing. All the senses in me are purely focused on the images. What I was reading and learning in biology suddenly started to make sense about physical attributes and reproductive organs through those images. After I think 6 to 12 months, the curiosity of images slowly vanished and moved into wanting to see someone nude in person. I knew this one is not going to happen that easily. The thought and drive never disappeared until I reached adulthood. On the other hand, I love watching movies from different cultures, and it is an understatement to say that cinema, movies, and television played a big role in influencing addictions. This still continues today, adding fuel to fire with social media and instant access to information and addictions. Movies of different genre played a pivotal role to my addictions since I was a kid. I watched James Bond movies and always wanted to drink martini. Watching a Western movie had a desire to drink whiskey, rum, and smoke cigars. Growing up watching movies, no wonder I was looking to turn 18 years old to have my first taste of alcohol. I still remember my first alcohol beverage is a beer called Khajuraho. Didn't like the taste of it, but just for the thrill of first time drinking beer, felt it was worth it. My desire to smoke also very much influenced by cinema and movies. When I was a kid, during summer holidays, I rolled up a normal newspaper without tobacco and tried smoking. I was more interested in how the smoke comes out rather than thinking or tasting about tobacco. I tried this in the kitchen and was caught by my mother. Well, the consequences? I was locked in a room without food as a punishment. This time, my father saved the day. He understood I wasn't actually smoking tobacco and was just curious. It is evident that the long history of drug use is that humans have used mind-altering plants since prehistoric times. Early humans discovered that eating plants gave a feeling of relaxation, happiness, drowsiness, energy, alertness, and stamina. For some, caused strange sensations, visions, and awareness. In an article titled The History of Rehab, the author notes that the first discussion about potential addiction in history likely belongs to the philosopher Aristotle. But he didn't exactly place the blame in a way modern thinkers would advocate. Aristotle believed that alcoholism, an excessive dependence on a substance, was the fault not of the substance itself, but of the will of the addicted person. He called the problem akrasia, or incontinence of will. People who were acratic couldn't control themselves enough to be able to stop consuming. In a 2007 article for Dialogues in Clinical Neuroscience, documented many early instances of man's use of mind and mood altering substances throughout human history. Tradition has it that Ethiopian priests started roasting and boiling coffee beans to stay awake through nights of prayer after a shepherd noticed how his goats were frolicking after feeding on coffee shrubs. The mushroom Amanita muscaria, which contains a hallucinogenic compound commonly known as the fly agaric, was used to prepare the soma and has been used in Central Asian religious rituals for at least 4,000 years. Also, the earliest written reference to the consumption of the fungi as a medicine rather than a food is within Rig Veda, which forms a part of oldest sacred texts of Hinduism, the Vedas. Soma is described as an intoxicated ritual drink, which was thought to infer divine powers on those who drank it. Homer's Odyssey alludes to a portion that many Greek scholars believe to be derived from opium, and there is general agreement that the Sumerians cultivated poppies and isolated opium from their seed capsules at the end of the 2000 BC. In the Bible, Noah's first act upon emerging from the ark was to plant a vineyard. According to the 1989 publication, The History of Wine, the oldest seeds of cultivated vines so far discovered and carbon dated were found in Georgia and belong to the period from 7000 to 5000 BC. In ancient Egypt, water lilies, known as blue lotus flowers, were consumed during ritual celebrations because of their seductive and euphoric properties. Both hashish and coffee were commonly used in the Islamic world, and the latter quickly spread to Europe. As fermentation gave way to distillation in Europe, alcohol from cereal grains became more potent, leading to an increase in the impact alcohol had on the health and well-being of those who consumed it. So, based on these examples, you can see that our human history is full of addictions. What chance we have to live a life without addictions? Thank you for listening. Take care and look after yourself. Thank you for listening to my podcast, Conscious Living. Experience the joy within you. Please check out my book, The True Self. Unlock the chaos in you. It is a timeless journey of teachings from across history and all cultures, a personal journey through universal wisdom. The book is available on Amazon in majority of the countries across the globe. Please subscribe to my podcast, Conscious Living, at Spotify for my next episode. Take care of yourself.